Hello and welcome to Tracing Your Ancestors' Lives Through Online Resources. I'm Bennett. I've been researching my family tree for over 25 years and I'm now a professional genealogist. Today I'm going to talk to you all about following the journey of your family history. I'm going to take some examples from my own family tree to show how you work with some of the first stages with looking at birth, marriage, deaths and census records, and then building other online resources to add details to find those extra things that bring your ancestors' lives to life. There is a brief handout that's attached below this video. So, how do you get started researching your family tree? Well, first of all, you'll be surprised by how much you already know. Start writing it down. Talk to other family members, find out what they know and add it to what you've got. Look for any documents or photos that you may have within your own collections or at family members' houses. And start to build your family tree. So start actually drawing the lines that link yourself to your parents and to their parents, your grandparents, and so on, filling out all the different people that you are related to. So, how do you get started? Well, I was very lucky that my grandmother was able to give me her parents' marriage certificate. So here are my great-grandparents, John George Braybrook and Emma Elizabeth Garfoot. From this, I can see that John George was 21, and that means he was born, as the wedding was in 1899, about 1877 or 1878. The fact the wedding was in February means it's likely to be 1877. So I can start building the tree from my grandmother to her parents. And from that marriage certificate, it also gives their fathers' names. So I can then add them onto the tree. So now I want to go hunting for John George Braybrook to find out what other records are available for him. So using the master search at the Genealogist, I pop in John George Braybrook. I put the keyword of Peterborough because he was born in Peterborough in Northamptonshire, or is it Huntingdonshire or Cambridgeshire? Depends on the time. And he was born in 1877. And I normally give a little bit of time period, so I normally for adults choose plus or minus 5 years. And a set of results appear. We can see that there are 2 birth records, there are 2 death records, and there are a couple of censuses. And this is only the first 6 results. There are another 13 results available. But taking these, it opens up some information. So we're looking at the birth records. Now there's one there for 1877 which fits in with what we know. But what about this other one in 1873? Well, it's for exactly the same name and it's in the same place of Peterborough. So who was this person? Well, there is a clue in the death. But first of all, if you want to find out more information, you need to click on the little index button, which is the one with the little arrow next to it. Or if you want to look at original images, you need to go and look at this symbol. In this case, it will just take you to the index page of all the General Registry Office quarterly returns, which store England and Welsh births, marriages and deaths. So now we're going to find out what happened to this John George Braybrook who was born in 1873. And as we can see in that list of records, there is actually a death for someone in 1875. And sadly, he was only aged 1. So this means that the boy who was born in 1873 sadly died early in childhood. So what more can we find out about these 2 children? Were they actually brothers or were they not related? Well, one very good way to find out is to work out what the mother's maiden name was for each of them. And to do that, you can go to the Gro Index. This now has an index for a big range of births as well as a range of deaths. But what's really beneficial is that these births show the mother's maiden name all the way from 1837 up to 1911, which is when the normal indexes start to show the mother's maiden name. So the indexes you'll find at the Genealogist, at FreeBMD and at other commercial websites. So this fills in a gap. So when we go searching for John George Braybrook on the GRO index, on the births, There were actually 3 results for the time period I searched, but 2 of them were from Peterborough and were the 2 John Georges I was expecting to find. And in both cases, the mother's maiden name was Coley. Now, the chances are of 2 Braybrook people marrying Coleys and these not being brothers is quite slim, but you should always check that. And if you've got much more common surnames, you should always check that there couldn't have been 2 families with the same father's surname and mother's surname. So going back to the censuses, we can now find out a little bit more about John George Braybrook, my great-grandfather. There are 2 census returns shown here, one when he was 3 in 1881 and one when he's 13 in 1891. And there are 2 ways to look at the results. We can head in and look at the 1881 census and look at the transcription, which includes everyone in the household, and it's this symbol here. And when we go in, it gives us the address that they lived at and the list of people. So we can see from this that his father was George Braybrook, which matches with the marriage certificate, and his mother is Elizabeth E. Braybrook, and he has a sister and a brother. The genealogist has this special tool which allows you to go hunting for the birth records or the marriage records of your ancestors. For the births, you use this symbol, and for marriages, you head for this. Now, we suspect that George married somebody with the surname Coley, but we want to go and check, so we click on the marriage list. There are a few possibilities, but the most obvious one is actually in Peterborough, which is good because that's where they were living. And there is an Elizabeth Ann Coley. Now, this doesn't quite add up to the census return because she was recorded as Elizabeth E. Coley. So you start having to ask questions, and this is an important thing whenever you're doing your family history research, is if something doesn't fully add up, start asking questions. In this case, I'm able to go on and look at other census returns and other records for Elizabeth and George, and I find on all the other records it's recorded as Elizabeth Ann, not Elizabeth E. So it seems like it's just a mistake made by the enumerator who is taking the information for the census. So we've now got that marriage. But whenever you're looking at records, if you can, you want to look at the original images. And on the census, we can do that by going in to this symbol. And here is a typical page from a census. And when we zoom in, we can see the same information that was on that transcript. That George Braybrook lived at 12 Tower Terrace, there with his wife and his 3 children. And we can see John George, or John G, as it's given here, down at the bottom. So we've been able to add some more people into the tree. We've now got John's mother's maiden name, and we also have some siblings of his.
We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. To watch the extended uninterrupted version, go to familyhistory.tv, link in the description. You will also find a host of talks from other experts on a variety of subjects. Don't forget to subscribe to get notified when these videos become available.